من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون، الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء وخاتم المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين سيدنا ونبينا بالقاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. واللعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. صلوات الله. Tonight's gathering is not a normal Thursday night gathering that we have on the weekly basis. Tonight we are commemorating this majlis, dedicating it to the Lady of Light, Fatima Zahra salawatullah alayha. The daughter of the Prophet of Islam. Based on one narration that we have, the day of Shahadat was today, although we formally commemorate that event 2.5 weeks after. This is also the gathering where we would like to remember the Shuhada of Iraq who protected the shrines of Ahlul Bayt, and also especially to remember those who passed away in the air disaster in Tehran just yesterday, especially those members of our community who had gone for ziyarat and visitation to the shrines of our Imams. It is a difficult moment for us from all different aspects, from different occasions that we are commemorating and remembering those events. But I would like to take this opportunity tonight to very briefly give the sense of what is going on in the Muslim world at the moment, and relate it to what we are remembering tonight. And I would like to very briefly, as I said, I'll keep it very brief, the roots of violence in the modern Muslim history. Muslims, like any other religious groups, have internal differences, different groups and sects. There have been theological disagreements among the Muslims from the early days. But those disagreements were mostly confined to religious discourses, either in books or speeches or religious debate that the scholars from different groups would have with one another. It's actually the first group in the history of Islam which resorted to using sword to kill those who disagreed with them, is a group known as the Khawarij. This is a group which emerged during the days of our first Imam, Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. They rebelled against him, they opposed him. And our Imam told them that as long as your opposition is verbal, I don't have a problem, I will tolerate you. They used to actually even use abusive language right in the masjid, in the mosque, when he was giving a speech. They would interrupt his speech, he would still tolerate that. But he told them, you can do whatever you want, we have disagreement with one another, but the day you resort to violence against innocent Muslims, I will not tolerate that. And that is what it ended in the battle known as the Battle of Naharawan against the Khawarij group. Moving fast forward in history, very quickly, we come to our own era. And we see that this mentality of Khawarij, to kill those who disagreed with you in the belief system, This emerged in the ideology which is known as Salafi Wahhabi ideology. And this is what was advocated by Saudi Arabia, actually the kingdom that is based on that ideology of Wahhabism and Salafism. Wherever they and their allies have been in power, two things will happen for sure. Number one, they will destroy the shrines. And number two, they will go around, killing the people who believed in visiting the shrines. This is what I would like to connect to the events that we see around now. You look at the example of Saudis. When they captured the holy cities of Mecca and Medina in 1920s, almost a century ago, the first thing they did was to destroy the shrines of the members of the family of the Prophet and the companions of the Prophet. Later on, we see in history during our own time, the group emerging in Afghanistan known as Taliban, who were interestingly, trained to fight against Soviet, trained by the Americans, financed by the Saudis and their allies in the Gulf region. And they did the same thing when they came to power. The most obvious example is destruction of that, statue of the Buddha, which has been there for centuries. Means Muslims ruled that land for centuries. No one said, we have to destroy this. Taliban came and did this. This is the hallmark of the Wahhabi Salafi mentality. They are the one they went around, killing and torturing the Shia minority. Why? Because they say these are the people who go and visit the shrines. And then you move forward and you come to the situation in Syria and Iraq. And you see this group known as ISIS. Same pattern. The hallmark of what they are is the first thing they will go and destroy the shrines, including the shrines of some of the prophets respected by Muslims in general in Iraq area and Syria, where they controlled for a brief time. And they have no respect for that at all. And this is where even the issue of beheading Muslims and non-Muslims alike who disagreed with their corrupted version, distorted version of Islam. And this is where I would like to say that, the majority of Muslims, the Sunnis, the Shias, the Sufis, believe in this concept of having the shrine of the holy figures. Majority of Muslims who go to Mecca even now for the pilgrimage, the Hajj, they consider it to be their religious duty to also go and visit Medina, which has the grave of the Prophet. And then they go to the gravesite of Jannatul Baqi, where they see the graves of the family and the companions of the Prophet. The Salafi Wahhabis have a very distorted view. They say that, this act of showing your respect to the grave of the Prophet and the companions and the family is an act of worship. Therefore, you are worshippers of the shrine. They do not distinguish between what is known as ta'zeem and ibadat. Respecting something is different from worshipping it. And this is where they have not been able to separate one from the other. If you look at the statements in the Sunni books, even in the Wahhabi literature, you will see that the Prophet of Islam and the four Khulafa of the Sunnis, even Muawiyah, used to specially go to visit the grave site of the martyrs and shuhada of Uhud. The graves of the shuhada of Uhud is not in Medina, it's outside Medina. You specially go for that purpose. So you have the Prophet and the Khulafa Rashidun, according to Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, even Muawiyah doing that. And this is where you come to realize that they may call themselves Salafi, but they are not really, they have nothing to do with the first generations of the Muslims. They are a distorted, group who had come, and unfortunately, because of the oil and the money, the Western powers consider them to be the best one. This is the problem there. This is where we see. For us Shias, when we talk about visiting the shrines and the graves of the Prophet and his family members, whether it's in Saudi Arabia or in Syria or Iraq or Iran, for us, when we go and visit those shrines, we feel connected to them. We feel more connected to them because of the physical, visitation. It gives us the opportunity to refocus on our values. And it gives us the opportunity to reform ourselves, to become better Muslims, better Shias, and eventually better human beings. And it is this positive impact of this process of visitation and the pilgrimage to the shrines which bothers the Salafis. And therefore, wherever they go, the first thing they do is to destroy the shrines and then prevent people from going for the visitation and the pilgrimage. And it's in this background that when we look at the current situation in the Middle East, we as a Shia Muslim community, we appreciate anyone who protects our shrine, anyone who arranges tour groups to facilitate these pilgrims, and also those who find time and use their own resources who go for the actual ziyarat and visitation. We respect and we appreciate all those who do these things. Salawat. And therefore, let me be very clear that we as a Shia community, and this is not a political statement, this is our religious sentiments. We salute and pray for those fighters from the Mediterranean coast to Pakistan who gave their lives to protect the shrine of Bibi Zainab, which is in the outskirts of Damascus, against the extremists and the ISIS groups in that area. If it hadn't been for them, today that shrine outside Damascus of Bibi Zainab would have been totally erased to the ground. And therefore we pray for them and we salute them. We salute and pray for those who gave their lives in fighting against the ISIS in Iraq. If it had not been for their courage and sacrifice of these Muslim fighters, ISIS would have had full plans to destroy the shrines of our Imams in Samarra, in Kazimain, in Karbala, and in Najaf. It was when they reached very close to Samarra, that's where our Grand Ayatollah Sistani in Iraq issued his famous fatwa asking the people of Iraq, irrespective of their religious background, to stand up and mobilize to fight this menace of ISIS. It was because of that, what is known as the public mobilization force, which emerged because of his fatwa, that they were able to destroy this problem of ISIS. And one of the senior officers of that was Abu Mahdi. And his mentor and guide was Haji Qasim. If it hadn't been for these people in this group in Iraq, today we would have seen that the shrines of our Imams in Samarra, in Kazimain, in Karbala, and Najaf would have been totally destroyed. And therefore we appreciate their work, their sacrifice, and their fight against the extremists who represent the Wahhabi Salafi ideology. We especially pray for those travelers who lost their lives in the recent air disaster outside Tehran, especially those who had gone for the purpose of visiting the shrines of our Imam. They had come from Iraq to Iran and now they're coming back. We have even a shrine of an Imam in Iran itself, in Mashhad. Especially for us, it is very close to home. Because as you heard, 3 individuals were from our community. There were many other Shias from other centers in the GTA areas. Some of them we know, others we do not know. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for special blessings on all those travelers who lost their life in this disaster. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially for those who are going for ziyarat, that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala place them among the ashab of Hussein ibn Ali. And may Allah give the strength and patience to their families here, especially the Dirani and Tarbai families during this tragic and difficult moment in their lives. I don't have words in order to, console them. But remember, tonight we have gathered to remember the Shahadat of Fatima Zahra. And I'll ask them during this very difficult time in their life to remember the tragedy of that daughter of the Prophet. And inshallah, that will in a way help, in the healing process of this suffering and the tragedy that you're going through. Let us recite Surah Fatiha for all of them. Bismillah. Some people would say, why do we pray for those who defended the shrines of the Ahlul Bayt in Syria and Iraq, the shrine of Zainab in Damascus, the shrine of the Imams in Kazimain, in Samarra, in Najaf and Karbala? Let me tell you that if it hadn't been for their courage and their success and their sacrifice, the ISIS would have turned those shrine places into the same situation that you see in Jannatul Baqi in Medina. What happened almost a century ago in Medina, in Saudi Arabia, would have happened in Iraq if it hadn't been for them. We go to Iran to visit the shrine of Imam Rida alayhi salam in Mashhad. We visit the shrine of Imam Ali in Najaf. Then we go on to Karbala, the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Hazrat Abbas. Then we move on to Kazimain and we see the shrine of the 2 Imams, the 7th Imam and the 9th Imam. We go to Samarra, we see the shrine of the 9th Imam and 11th Imam. And you look at the buildings, they are so beautiful. The dome shining, especially after the downfall of Saddam, things have even become better there. You see the light. There is no darkness there. You see the domes, shining. But then you remember when you go for Umrah or Hajj to Saudi Arabia, when you go to Medina, what do you see there? You go to Jannatul Baqi. This is where we go to visit the gravesite of Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet, and the Imams from her descendants who have been buried there. But what do you see there? You only see, pebbles, stones, sand. It's not that the Shias didn't want to build something there. It's not that the Muslims didn't want to build shrines over the graves. The shrines were there till about 1926. It is the Wahhabis and Salafis who destroyed them. We go there to do the ziyarat of Fatima Zahra. But you ask the ulama, they will tell you, we are not sure where is the grave of Fatima Zahra. That itself is a tragedy. She was the only daughter of Rasulullah, the Prophet of Islam. How come we don't know whether she was buried inside the home or was she buried in that graveyard known as Jannatul Baqi? Was it that Fatima didn't want the people to know where she's buried? No, it's not that she wanted that privacy in that way. No, but she had asked her husband that I would like you to bury me not during daytime but at night time. Why? She says, because I don't want certain people to attend my funeral. Why, Fatima Zahra? Why didn't you want these people who were in power not to attend your funeral? You are the only daughter of the Prophet. She says, they have hurt me. She said, I don't want them to attend my funeral because they have been unjust to us. They have humiliated us. They have attacked us. And they have tried to destroy us. And I don't want them to be in my funeral. They tried to destroy them all. That was just an attempt. But they destroyed the baby who was in the womb of Fatima Zahra. کیا ہوا تھا مدینہ میں؟ جب ہم کربلا کی بات کرتے ہیں، کربلا بہت دور تھا. مدینہ تو مدینہ رسول ہے، رسول کا شہر ہے. اور ہوا کیا تھا وہاں؟ رسول کے وفات کے بعد جب فاطمہ کے گھر علی اور ان کے اصحاب جمع ہو گئے، انہوں نے بیعت کرنے سے انکار کیا. تو خلیفہ وقت جو ہے، حاکم وقت نے کچھ لوگوں کو بھیجا کہ انہیں فورسفلی ان کو نکالا جائے. فاطمہ آتی ہیں دروازے پہ. کیوں فاطمہ گئی تھی؟ اس لیے کہ فاطمہ چاہتی تھی شاید میرے بابا کا احترام ہے تو میرا بھی احترام کریں گے. ہم آخری تنہا بیٹی ہیں رسول کے. جب فاطمہ نے کہا تم کیا چاہتے ہو تو کہا جاتا ہے کہ علی اور ان کے ساتھیوں کو بھیجو. جب فاطمہ کہتی ہیں کہ اگر وہ باہر نہیں آتے ہیں تو تم کیا کرو گے، تو کہا جاتا ہے کہ ہم اس گھر کو جلا دیں گے. یہ وہ دروازہ تھا جہاں رسول 6 مہینے تک فجر کے وقت آ کے آئے تطہیر کی تلاوت کرتے تھے. فاطمہ نے کہا ہے کہ یہ میرا گھر ہے، ہم ہیں یہاں، تمہارے رسول کی بیٹی. انہوں نے کہا ہمیں پرواہ نہیں ہے. اور اس کے بعد فاطمہ فرماتی ہے کہ لیکن حسن اور حسین بھی اس گھر میں، شاید انہیں احساس ہو کہ رسول کے نواسے ہیں. جواب ملا ہمیں اس کی بھی پرواہ نہیں ہے. عزاداران حسین آخر میں وہ ظلم ہوا ہے کہ دروازے کو زور سے اس طرح سے مارا گیا، توڑا گیا ہے کہ فاطمہ جو ہے دروازے اور دیوار کے درمیان آ جاتی ہے. علامہ مجلسی ایک بیان کرتے ہیں کہ اے شیعہ تمہیں اندازہ نہیں ہے کہ تم سنتے ہو کہ دروازہ جو ہے وہ لگا تھا فاطمہ پر. وہ صرف دروازہ نہیں تھا بلکہ اس دروازے میں ایک میخ تھی جو آ کے فاطمہ کے پہلو میں پیوست ہو جاتی ہے. فاطمہ رو کے جو ہے زمین پہ آ جاتی ہے، آواز دیتی ہے فضا فضا الیہ، فضا مجھے آ کے سنبھالو۔ عزاداران حسین یہ لعین جو ہے گھر میں آ جاتے ہیں، امیر المومنین کو گرفتار کر کے گردن میں رسن باندھ کے کھینچ کے لے کے جاتے ہیں۔ عزاداران حسین جب فاطمہ کو ہوش آتا ہے تو فوراً جو ہے پہلا سوال فاطمہ جو ہے فضا سے کرتی ہے کہ فضا یہ بتاؤ میرے ابو الحسن کہاں ہے، علی کہاں ہے؟ جب بتایا گیا فاطمہ کہ علی کو گرفتار کے لے کر گئے، فاطمہ کھڑی ہوتی ہے، مجھے نہیں معلوم کہ خاتون اس حالت میں کس ہمت کے ساتھ جاتی ہے وہاں مسجد میں اور کہتی ہے کہ اگر تم نے میرے ابو الحسن کو نہ چھوڑا، ہم اپنے بال کو کھول کے تمہارے خلاف بد دعا کریں گے۔ علی نے جب یہ سنا، سلمان سے کہتے ہیں سلمان فاطمہ سے کہو کہ امت کے خلاف بد دعا نہ کرے۔ عزاداران حسین وہاں یہ کہا جا رہا تھا علی سے کہ یہ بیعت کرو ورنہ ہم تمہیں قتل کر دیں گے۔ یہ تو فاطمہ آ گئی تھی اور جب اصرار کرتی ہے کہ ہم علی بغیر ہم گھر نہیں جائیں گے، تب جو ہے حاکم وقت نے کہا کہ علی کو چھوڑ دیا جائے۔ عزاداران حسین بس ایک جملہ کہنا چاہیں گے کہ ہمارے اور تمہارے امام اس دن قتل ہو جاتے اگر فاطمہ نے علی کی جان نہ بچائی ہوتی، لیکن کس اذیت کے ساتھ بچائی ہے، پہلو شکستہ ہے۔ عزاداران حسین اس پہلو شکستہ کی اذیت کی وجہ سے فاطمہ کچھ مہینے تک بیمار چلتی رہی۔ آخر میں وہ وقت آتا ہے کہ جو آخری ایام کے فاطمہ کے ایک روز امیر المومنین گھر آئے ہیں اور سرانے بیٹھتے ہیں بی بی کے۔ اس وقت جناب فاطمہ نے آنکھ کھولنے کے بعد جب چہرے پر نظر جاتی ہے علی کے، اس وقت رونا شروع کر دیتی ہے۔ علی کہتے ہیں فاطمہ رونے کی وجہ کیا ہے؟ اس وقت فاطمہ نے علی عجیب غریب جملہ کہا ہے، کہا علی میں اپنے لیے نہیں رو رہی ہوں، مجھے تو وہ دن یاد آ رہا ہے کہ میرے بعد آپ بالکل تنہا ہوں گے، آپ کا کوئی ناصر اور مددگار نہ ہوگا۔ آخری وصیتیں کرتی ہے کہ آپ مجھے غسل دیں گے اور جو ہمارے دشمن ہے وہ میرے جنازے میں شریک نہ ہو، اور جناب اسماء بنت امیس سے جو تابوت پہلی بار بنایا گیا تھا مدینہ میں، جناب فاطمہ کہتی ہے کہ ہم کفن کے اوپر سے بھی ہم پسند نہیں کرتے ہیں کہ لوگوں کی نظر جو ہے میرے قد و قامت کی طرف جائے۔ عزاداران حسین وہ آخری وقت آتا ہے جناب سیدہ کی زندگی میں جہاں بی بی جو ہے اسماء بنت امیس سے کہتی ہیں کہ میرے لیے وضو کا پانی لے آؤ۔ وضو کرنے کے بعد کہتی ہے ہم کمرے میں جا رہے ہیں، تم دروازے کو بند کر دو، جب تک تسبیح کی آواز آئے سمجھنا فاطمہ زندہ ہے، لیکن اس کے بعد جو ہے آواز بند ہو جائے تو سمجھنا کہ ہم یہ دنیا میں نہیں۔ تھوڑی دیر کے بعد جب آواز بند ہوئی، اسماء نے دروازہ کھولا، دیکھتی ہے کہ فاطمہ کی روح اب ملائے اعلیٰ کی طرف پرواز کر چکی ہے۔ حسنین کو کہتی ہے بابا کو جا کے بلاؤ اور خبر کرو علی آتے ہیں۔ آنے کے بعد غسل و کفن کی تیاری کی۔ عزاداران حسین غسل دیتے دیتے اصحاب کی روایت ملتی ہے کہ ایک مرتبہ علی کے زبان سے چیخ کے رونے کی آواز آئی۔ جب لوگوں نے پوچھا علی آپ کبھی زندگی میں اس طرح سے چیخ کے روئے نہیں ہیں؟ فرماتے ہیں کہ میرا ہاتھ جب پہلو پہ گیا ہے تب مجھے اندازہ ہوا کہ بی بی کتنی تکلیف سے گزر رہی تھی۔ تاریکی شب میں وصیت کے مطابق یہ جنازہ اٹھا اور علی نے فاطمہ کو جب لحد میں رکھا ہے، دو ہاتھ نمودار ہوئے، علی پہچان گئے یہ رسول کے ہاتھ تھے، بس ایک جملہ کہتے ہیں یا رسول اللہ یہ امانت ہم لوٹا رہے ہیں، لیکن امانت صحیح سالم ملی تھی۔ آپ امت کے ظلم کے آثار فاطمہ کے جسم پر دیکھیں گے۔ بس اس کے بعد کھڑے ہوتے ہیں، دفن کرنے کے بعد ایک جملہ کہتے ہیں کہ میرے دو حمایتی ستون تھے، ایک رسول کے بعد ختم ہوا اور آج ختم ہوا ہے۔ بس آخر میں ایک جملہ ہم کہیں گے، جب علی کو خبر ملی کہ دوسرے دن جو ہے دشمنان وہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ ہم قبر کو کھود کے نماز جنازہ پڑھیں گے، علی جو صابر تھا اس وقت تلوار نکال لیتے ہیں۔ ہم کہتے ہیں مولا آپ نے تلوار نکال لی صرف قبر کی بے حرمتی کے خاطر، لیکن کربلا میں دیکھے اس علی کو دیکھے کہ جس کے ہاتھ بندھے ہوئے تھے، اپنے بابا کے لاشے کو پیمار ہوتے ہوئے دیکھتا رہا اور کچھ بھی نہ کر سکا۔ لعنت اللہ علی القوم الظالمین سیعلم الذین ظلموا ای منقلب ینقلبون۔ خداوند اس کے بعد قبول فرما، ہمارے گناہوں کو بخش دے، ہماری توفیقات میں اضافہ فرما۔ خداوندہ جس منغومین کے ایصال ثواب کے لیے مجلس ہے، خداوندہ ان کو اپنے جوار رحمت میں جگہ عنایت فرما، ان کو محمد آل محمد کے ساتھ محشور فرمانا، ان کے گھر والوں کو صبر جمیل کی توفیق عنایت فرما۔ جہاں جہاں شیعہ ہیں اور مسلمان ہیں، خداوندہ ان کو اپنے حفظ امان میں رکھ، تکفیری افواج کے تمام صلاحیتوں کو نیست و نابود فرما، امام کے ظہور میں تعجیل فرما۔ ربنا تقبل منا انک انت السمیع العلیم۔